Hi guys, this will be my Christmas special. Seeing as it's Christmas Eve, I decided that there's no better time to do it. The news got outside that it's still snowing, but you know, and it's Christmas tomorrow, so really looking forward to that. And in this review, I'll basically be reviewing Christmas horror movies. I haven't got many of them. I've only got 3. There was one that I was going to review, which I thought was set on Christmas, but it wasn't. It was set on New Year, and that was the film The Children. But I'll be reviewing that some other time. But the main Christmas horror movies I've got in here, and I'll start probably one of the oldest horror movies in my collection. This will be Bob Clark's Black Christmas. Bob Clark's Black Christmas basically was one of the films that set up the slasher film genre. It was done in the same year as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Didn't do as well as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, of course, but it was still a very good movie. It's basically it's about this psychopath who, it's like a crazy killer who sets up his killing spree in a college sorority house where these girls will go for the Christmas holidays away from their families, and some go to, you know, and they all start getting killed off one by one as some of the people start getting killed off. It's very good, very interesting. It was a very good film to watch. I mean, it's very interesting. I love the writing it says on the back. If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight. This was really the one that they said spawned the genre, the slasher genre. But to be honest, it's a fairly good movie, but it's not the most brilliant movie ever. Quite good. It stars Keir Dullea and Margaret Kidder. It also has an actress, I can't, what's her name? Olivia Hussey or something like that. She's in this movie. It's a very good watch. You can really check it out. There's not many special features on it. It's quite funny in part, especially because of it when the owner of the sorority house is like this woman who loves hiding alcohol around the house, and it's really quite funny. So check this out. It's a great watch. I mean, very, very good around the Christmas season. But in 2006, the producers, the people that made Final Destination, the first Final Destination, came to do a remake of Bob Clark's Black Christmas, which they entitled Black Xmas. The only things that are sort of the same is that it's at a sorority house and the killer is killing the girls at the sorority house. But other than that, the killer's different. The killer is actually a kid who lived in this house and suffered from like a liver disease which made his skin yellow and escaped from a psychiatric hospital, whereas the killer in the original was just a normal guy basically being really weird. The thing the film sets up is that the killer is again coming out, and what he's doing is actually prank calling the girls, which is actually what they do in the original Black Christmas as well, so that's a good thing they kept in it. And they're being killed off by this killer, and it's really quite... It's one of the worst remakes. It's not the worst remake I've ever seen, but it's certainly not a brilliant remake. I mean, there can never really be a truly brilliant remake. I mean, the remakes I have seen, like My Bloody Valentine, the Friday the 13th remake, they were good, but they weren't absolutely bloody brilliant. This was still a fairly good film. The film had a lot of young actresses in it, including one actress who was actually in the original Black Christmas, which was a fairly, good thing, playing the sorority house's owner. This has got like Mary Elizabeth Winstead from Final Destination 3 and Die Hard 4. Lacey Chabot from Mean Girls, Katie Cassidy from the film When a Stranger Calls, and it's also got Michelle Trachtenberg from Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this. Now they get killed off basically by having their eyes poked out by this killer, and it's not the worst remake, but it's not a brilliant film, you know, but you can check it out if you want. Now perhaps my favourite Christmas-based horror movie is the film Gremlins by Steven Spielberg. It was produced by Steven Spielberg, I think, but it was directed by Joe Dante, who also directed The Howling. This was a cool little horror comedy. Basically, the main story is that this guy buys his son a creature that he finds in like a Chinese shop they call it a mogwai, and he buys one, but he basically gives him a set of rules that you should never put it in bright light, you should never put it in water, and you should never feed it after midnight. And they then realise that if you spill water on it, it reproduces. From one single drop of water, it reproduces. Like little dots sprout off it, and they turn into little mogwai, little gremlins. And if you feed them, sunlight can kill them. And if you feed them after midnight, then they turn from this fluffy thing, which is actually incidentally the inspiration they got for Furbies. They turn into these little scaly green things that end up making mischievous all over the flaming place, you know, and the town almost gets infested with them because they're reproducing so rapidly. It's really funny. The bar scene with the gremlins in the bar, you know, and there's one with like hats on and sunglasses, and there's one that's got like 7 or something cigarettes all around its mouth, smoking them all at the same time. And then there's one dressed up as a woman. There's you know, they're drunk. They're really, really funny. It's really quite a funny film if you watch it. Another one incidentally, the woman goes up the stair lift and they hotwire it and they put the wires all together, and she shoots up the stair lift like God knows how fast, and then flies out the window at the top of the stairs, bash out the window, smacks down into the snow, and there's these 2 cops which pull up and go, "Was that Mrs. you know?" I think it was. And really quite funny. It's really quite a funny film. You really check it out. It's really interesting. And unfortunately, these are the only 3 horror movies based around Christmas that I've got. The other ones they did create, I can think off the top of my head, were the Christmas Evil, Silent Night, Deadly Night. There's 5 of them. Jack Frost 1 and 2. And that's the Jack Frost about the killer snowman, not the one about the guy who gets killed and then becomes a snowman. And there was also one called Santa's Sleigh, which I haven't seen. But apart from that, there's not really many that were worth your while. And there was a short one I can't remember the name of, a small, lower base one that wasn't really good. But anyway, these ones are good. This will be the end of the review. I'm sorry it's quite short. But it's Christmas tomorrow, and hope you all have a good time. Merry Christmas to you, and rock on.